Hello friends, today I will discuss the numerical problems on three-phase induction motor. So before I discuss the numerical problems, here I will discuss first the construction of the three-phase induction motor in brief and the types of three-phase induction motors, then the necessary formulas to solve the problems based on the three-phase induction motor. A three-phase induction motor means basically it consists of two parts. One is called the stator, the other is called the rotor. The stator is always connected to a three-phase AC supply, and whereas rotor are two types. One is called the slip ring type of rotor, in which the windings are also extended to the external resistances. So those external resistance are in the star form and they are variable. Whereas in case of squirrel cage rotor, so in that case the windings or bars, they are within the surface of the rotor. When the supply is given to the stator winding produces a rotor, the rotating magnetic field which rotates around the air gap which is between the rotor and the stator core. And then that flux links with the rotor. Due to the transformer action, there will be induced EMF in the rotor winding. So that normally we represent with E2, and this E2 will be different when rotor is at standstill and when it is running. At standstill, the rotor induced EMF is higher, whereas the rotor EMF under running condition it will be less. Similarly, the rotor winding produces a voltage in the rotor winding that is called rotor induced EMF. That also depends upon the slip. Slip means rotor speed with respect to the synchronous speed. So the rotor induced EMF frequency at standstill it is exactly equal to the supply frequency, that is F, whereas under running condition its frequency is Fr, and it is related with the supply frequency with a slip called Fr is equal to S into F. And its induced EMF at under standstill condition is represented with E2. Under running conditions we represent that with SE2. If the rotor circuit is closed, then the current also flows through the rotor. That current is called rotor current. So these are the few things which we have to keep in mind while solving these problems based on the three-phase induction motor. So let me take first what are the important formulas before we proceed to solve the problems. So here two types of numerical problems are classified. One type is this first one. So in this video I will discuss the problems which are based on the synchronous speed, rotor speed, this is also called motor speed, this is also called actual speed, slip, rotor frequency, supply frequency, induced EMFs in the rotor and the induced EMFs in the stator, rotor currents, stator currents, rotor circuit power factor. So based on this, so we solve the problems. For this, we need some of the problems which are some of the formulas which we have to know. One formula is synchronous speed is nothing but 120 F by P, where F is the frequency of the supply or input supply frequency and P is the number of poles on the stator. Slip S is nothing but Ns minus N divided by Ns. Ns means it is the synchronous speed of the magnetic field or motor minus N means rotor speed divided by Ns. And from this we can also write rotor speed N is equal to Ns into 1 minus S. Similarly, we can relate the rotor frequency Fr with the supply frequency like this. Fr is equal to S into F, where F is the supply frequency, S is the slip. And we can also write what is the induced EMF in the stator winding per phase, that is 4.445 N1 F1 or simply F into KB into Kp. So here Kb means breadth factor and Kp means it is the pitch factor of the winding of the motor, and F is the supply frequency or input supply frequency, and N1 is the number of turns per phase on the stator, and Phi is the flux produced by the stator winding currents. Similarly, we can write the induced EMF formula for the rotor, that is E2 is equal to 4.445 into N2 into Fr or F2 into Kb into Kp. So here, as usual, phi means it is the flux that is present, N2 is the number of turns per phase in the rotor, and F2 or Fr is the rotor induced EMF frequency, and Kb is the breadth factor of the motor, and Kp is the pitch factor of the motor. Next, induced or the current flowing in the rotor circuit at standstill, that is at S is equal to 1, is given by like this. Induced EMF in the rotor at standstill is E2 divided by root of R2 square plus X2 square. Similarly, at standstill, that is S is equal to 1, rotor circuit power factor is given by R2 divided by R2 square plus X2 square. Similarly, we can write rotor EMF at slip S, that is equal to S into E2, where S is the slip and E2 is the induced EMF in the rotor per phase at standstill. Next, rotor current at slip S is given by S into E2 divided by root of R2 square plus Sx2 whole square. Next, rotor power factor at slip S, that is R2 divided by root of R2 square plus S square X2 square. So we have seen in the rotor circuit, when it is standstill, what is the current taken by it, what is the power factor of that, what is the induced voltage in that, what is the current taken by the rotor. So we have seen all the formulas which are necessary to solve the problems now. Suppose a 4-pole 50 Hz induction motor is to be used as a frequency changer. Find the motor speed so as to give an output frequency A bit 5 Hz, B bit 80 Hz. So whenever we have the problem like this, the meaning of that is he is giving the rotor induced EMF frequency, that is 5 Hz, the other is 80 Hz. So, and also he mentioned the number of poles of the stator and also the supply frequency also mentioned. So he wants to know what is the motor speed. So to know the motor speed, so we should know what is the slip. So to know the slip, we know the relation between the supply frequency and the rotor frequency. And also we know the synchronous speed formula, that is 120 F by P. So using all this, we can solve this problem. The first step is, so first find out what is the synchronous speed of the induction motor. So we know the synchronous speed of the induction motor is given by 120 F by P. Here F is the supply frequency and P is the number of poles on the stator. So we write 120 into supply frequency 50 Hz, number of poles on the stator are 4. So we get 1500 RPM. Now the first bit is when the output frequency means rotor induced EMF frequency is 5 Hz. What is the rotor speed? That is also called motor speed. So to calculate that motor speed, first of all we have to calculate what is the slip corresponding to this frequency of induced EMF in the rotor. So that is rotor frequency Fr is equal to S into F. So from this we can calculate what is S is equal to Fr by F. Fr is nothing but 5 Hz because it is given, divided by F. F is nothing but supply frequency 50 Hz. So then we get the slip is 0.1. Then speed of the motor, that is also called rotor speed, that is also called actual speed, or which can be measured by the tachometer, that is nothing but N is equal to Ns into 1 minus S. So we have calculated what is the synchronous speed and we also calculated what is the slip. So we can calculate what is the speed of the motor, that is N is equal to Ns into 1 minus S. So Ns is nothing but 1500 into 1 minus power factor, slip is also known, that is 0.1. So substitute that, then we get 1350 RPM. So if you look at this speed, so 1350 RPM is less than the synchronous speed. So it is okay. Next. So another case is if the rotor induced EMF frequency is 80 Hz, then what is the rotor speed? So for that also same formula we use, that is S is equal to Fr by F. So the induced EMF frequency of the rotor is given as 80 and supply frequency is given as 50. So we get 1.6. So having known the supplies and slip, we can calculate what is the rotor speed, that is N is equal to Ns into 1 minus S. So Ns is nothing but 1500 into 1 minus S is 1.6. So we get minus 900 RPM. So what is the meaning of this minus 900 RPM? The meaning is the direction of the rotor is opposite to the direction of the stator magnetic field. Suppose the stator magnetic field rotates in the clockwise direction, the rotor will rotate in the anti-clockwise direction. That is the meaning of this negative sign. So let us move to the another problem. So that is second problem. A 12-pole 3-phase synchronous generator is driven by an engine running at 500 RPM. The generator feeds a 3-phase induction motor having a full load speed of 1425 RPM. Find the slip and also the number of poles of the motor. So if you look at this problem, the actual problem starts here, that is at 3-phase induction motor. So instead of giving the supply frequency, he is giving the generator information. For generator, the speed is uniform, that is synchronous speed, and for that synchronous speed, he gave the number of poles that it is using. Similarly, it also mentioning what is the generator speed. So knowing this speed and this number of poles, we can calculate what is the frequency of the supply generated by the generator. So that is the only new thing that is appearing here. So first we calculate step 1, the frequency of the generated voltage. F is equal to P into Ns divided by 120. So the speed of the generator is always uniform. There will not be separate stator field, separate rotor speed. It is rotor speed, it is also stator field. So that is 500 RPM. So we write synchronous speed is 500. So we write P into Ns divided by 120. So number of poles on the synchronous generator is given as 12 and the speed of the synchronous generator is given as 500. So divided by 120 will give us what is the frequency of the generated EMF, that is 50 Hz. So from this onwards the actual problem starts. Step 2 is what is the nearest synchronous speed if the motor runs at 1425 rpm. This 1425 rpm is the rotor speed. This is the actual speed which is measured by the tachometer. So synchronous speed of the three-phase induction motor will be different and it will be definitely more than this and it will be near to that. So to get that, what we have to do is we have to use the supply frequency, that is generator supply frequency given as 50 Hz, means calculated, and we have to use by trial and error method number of poles to get the synchronous speed which is near to the 1425. So for that, let us assume that number of poles on the stator of the three-phase induction motor is 4 poles. Then we know the synchronous speed formula, that is 120 F by P. 120 into supply frequency is 50 Hz, which is calculated just now, and divided by number of poles, that is we are assuming for the stator. So if we simplify it, we get 1500 rpm. If you look at this, so this 1500 rpm synchronous speed and the rotor speed 1425 are there very near to each other. So this is the actual synchronous speed of the three-phase induction motor. So then what did he ask? What is the slip? Number of poles calculated. So now let us go to the third problem. A three-phase 50 Hz 4-pole 400 volts induction motor has a delta connected stator winding and star connected rotor winding. The stator winding has 240 conductors per phase and the rotor winding has 48 conductors per phase. The breadth factor is 0.95 and pitch factor is unity for each winding. The rotor resistance and standstill reactance are 0.02 ohms per phase and 0.08 ohms per phase. Neglect the stator impedance. Find the A bit flux per pole, the rotor EMF per phase at standstill, C bit rotor current and power factor at standstill, D bit rotor EMF per phase at 4% slip, E bit rotor current and power factor at 4% slip. So whatever the problems or the formulas discussed at the beginning, so those formulas are going to be used for these problems. So if you look at this, the induced EMF equation has the number of turns in the formula, whereas here in the data they give the number of conductors, not the turns. A turn means two conductors form a turn. So we must convert these conductors into turns. Similarly, here rotor also will have the conductors per phase. So whereas in the formula we must use only turns. So we have to convert these conductors into turns. So let us go to the first formula, first problem, that is flux per pole. So to get the flux per pole, we should know what is the induced EMF formula for the stator per phase. That is given by E1 is equal to 4.445 into F1 or simply F into N1 into KB into KP. Here F1 means it is the supply frequency and N1 means the number of turns per phase on the stator, and KB is the breadth factor of the winding and Kp is the pitch factor of the winding. and phi is the flux. So first let us calculate what are the number of turns per phase on the stator. So number of turns per phase N1 is equal to the number of conductors per phase on the stator divided by 2. The number of conductors on the stator is given as 240, divide by 2 so that we get the number of turns per phase, that is N1, that we get here 120. And this N1 can be used in this formula. We cannot use this 240 directly here. Similarly, for delta connected stator, we know from the circuit theory that the phase voltage and line voltage or induced voltage per phase, line voltage, all are same. So that is given as 400 volts at the beginning itself. So we write per phase voltage of stator is given as 400 volts, and Kp is given, Kb is also given, that is 0.95. So we know the induced EMF per phase in these stators here. So we can calculate what is phi from this formula, that is phi is equal to E1 divided by 4.44 F1 N1 Kp into Kb. So we substitute all the values here. The induced EMF in the stator is given as 400, that is readily available in the data. So put it here, 400 divided by 4.44, supply frequency is 50 Hz, into N1 is 120, which is calculated, and then Kp is 1 and Kb is 0.95. So once we simplify this, we get 0.0158 Webers. The second bit, that is B, is what is the induced EMF in the rotor when the rotor is at standstill. So that is rotor speed is 0. So at standstill the slip is equal to 1. So the rotor EMF per phase is given by equation like this. E2 is equal to 4.44 F2 N2 phi Kp Kw. N2 we calculated, and the frequency of the rotor at standstill is equal to the supply frequency, that is F2 is equal to F1, that is also available. So we can calculate this induced EMF because we also know what is the flux. So we substitute all the values here. What is the flux? That is just now calculated, 0.0158 Webers. So same thing we are going to use here. E2 is equal to 4.44. So F2 is equal to F1. So we write here 50 Hz. So into N2. N2 is nothing but number of turns on the rotor, that is number of conductors are given per phase as 48. Divide that with 2 so that we get 24. So we substitute at N2 24 into, and flux which is calculated in the previous case, that is 0.0158 Webers. So into 1, that is Kp, into width factor, that is 0.95. So we get here 80 volts. So the induced voltage in the rotor winding per phase at standstill is 80 volts. Under these conditions, he is asking what is the current taken by the rotor circuit. So that is nothing but C bit. At S is equal to 1, that is slip is equal to 1, rotor current formula is given by I2 is equal to E2 divided by root of R2 square plus X2 square. So E2 just now calculated in the previous step, that is 80 divided by R2 value is given in the data itself, that is 0.2 ohms. So and X2 is also given, that is 0.08. So 0.02 whole square plus 0.08 whole square is equal to 970.1 ampere, 14 ampere. So next, he also asked under this standstill condition, what is the rotor power factor, rotor circuit power factor. For that also we know the formula, rotor power factor at standstill, that is S is equal to 1, is given by R2 divided by root of R2 square plus X2 square, that is equal to 0.02 because it is given, divided by root of 0.02 whole square plus 0.08 whole square. So we get here 0.24 lagging. So this indicates rotor current is very large. At S is equal to 1 means the induced EMF is very large. So automatically the rotor current is also very large. So the stator has to take more current. So it must be controlled by external means. So the rotor current must be controlled by the external means, or we have to control the stator current. Next, D bit. So what is the induced EMF per phase in the rotor if the slip is 4%? Means if the rotor is running, what is the induced EMF per phase? That is S into E2. And E2 we know in the previous problems, that is 80 volts. So 0.04 into 80, that will give us 3.2 volts. Similarly, at the same slip 4%, so what is the rotor current per phase? That is also given by I2 is equal to SE2 divided by root of R2 square plus S square X2 square. So all the values are given. S is given, that is 0.04 into 80 divided by root of 0.02 square plus 0.04 into 0.8 whole square. So once we simplify this, we get what is the current taken by the rotor. So once we simplify this equation, we get the rotor current at slip 4% as like this, 158 amperes approximately. So if you look at this, at 4% slip means when the rotor is running, it is taking 158 amperes, whereas when the rotor is not rotating, the current taken by the rotor circuit is 970.14 amperes. Means at standstill condition, the rotor will take the very large current compared to the under running conditions.